What's up everybody, welcome to today's video. In this video we are going to be discussing how to do a pretty simple, somewhat high risk, high reward sort of one pull Deadmines pull. I say sort of one pull because it's technically two pulls, but the first one is a bunch of non-elites that basically just waste your time. The larger and majority of the pull you actually start at the boat and bring back to the front of the instance so that your boosties don't have to worry about the pats coming up from behind them, and you don't have to worry about them as well. Some of the essentials that you'll need to kind of complete this run, we're going to start in the talent area, and the first is going to be the magic absorption out of the arcane talent tree. You'll want this mainly because you resist a lot of fire blast in here, and anytime you resist fire blast with like 6k mana, you get about 300 mana back, so you can keep a shield up at all times, including mana shield. You'll also want arcane resilience because you will get hit by a lot of physical damage in this instance. So you'll want to make sure you're absorbing as much damage as possible. In addition to that, the three mains that you'll need from Frost are going to be Ice Barrier, Cold Snap, and Ice Block. You will be utilizing the Ice Barrier throughout the entire thing, and you will need 2 Ice Blocks to complete this. Some additional things that you may want to consider including in your build are Engineering for Iron Grenades, as well as the improved Frostbolt. The Frostbolt helps you get through a lot of the bosses so that you can get through the run quicker, because you do have to kill bosses in order to open up doors. The Iron Grenade is more for the final kill in that like last pull around your ice block. So without further ado, we'll kind of just hop right into the run and kind of show you exactly how we do it. In the very beginning of the run, I do notice that I take off that mana shield. So I do want to mention, just only apply an ice barrier here. You'll end up wasting a lot of mana when you're kind of AoEing them down in this first pull here. So yeah, just only use an ice barrier, kind of just get through the run. If your ice barrier falls off a little early, you're only getting hit for like 16, 17, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. So you're just gonna kind of grab everybody in this first little room and start pulling them back to the first boss area. Later on, I'll kind of show you where the boosties go. Off to the left hand of this door behind the pipe there is kind of where you're going to want to go. I'll show you exactly where to go and how to avoid pulling the pats if you don't end up clearing the pats. And you just kind of sneak your boosties through as you pull everything here. This is where you would pull them if you want to see them get loot for Sneed, as well as the goblin in the mining room. But for now, I pop a mana ruby there so I can get some mana back, and I do end up pulling here, so I look at that corner and I think maybe that's a nice little reset spot, and I do find that it is a reset spot. So I throw on a fire ward, make sure I don't take any unnecessary damage for whatever reason, I get a couple resists, get some mana back from that magic absorption, and then they cast one more flame strike, and you'll notice they turn away. So I'm just gaining a bunch of mana back. They turn away. It says that I enter combat again, but I'm safe once they turn away to start moving again. So what I do is I kind of avoid some of these mobs in here, because when I do pull these mobs, they are very annoying to deal with. Not, impossible, but they do stun. And so in this room, when you're kind of coming back through and pulling these guys, there's a very particular way you got to do it. So right now we're just kind of going through Sneed, getting him deaded. I don't have the improved Frostbolt on my runs, so you'll see it does take a little bit more time than anybody, with a 2.5 second cast. But it's not impossible again. Definitely do it. What I do is I normally jump off that rock and blink through so I don't pull those guys. And then I kind of just sit around, wait for these pats to get into a nice area so that I can hang a tight left and kind of blink through these guys. You'll see that when I blink, it doesn't quite take, and that miner actually pulls. What you'll want to do, if anything pulls, and I honestly say jump down this way, is kind of run up to that pole, jump off, and jump onto this chain. As long as you're not directly below them or like backpedaling back into them when you get on that chain, they should reset eventually, and they shouldn't hit you at all. So it should be a pretty nice little area. What I'm doing here is I'm making sure that there's a goblin down there that goes back to those smelting pots. I'm making sure that he's not on top of those little cannonballs there, because if he is, I don't want to accidentally pull him and include him in this pull, because the boosties aren't getting XP for these bosses right now. They're not getting loot, they're not getting XP unless they are on that pipe next to the first boss. I choose not to pull the alts that I'm running back to the front of the instance, because I'm a little lazy and I don't care for loot, I just care for the experience. So what you want to do here is kind of blink through these guys after you kill that boss there. Make sure you open up those doors. Just want to make sure that you got mana for blinks, essentially. If there's a pat coming from your left onto your right, when you get that little blasting powder, kind of hang a right over to the pole and sit there for a second, let all the pats pass, and you should be good to go. Right there I pulled only one of the miners. He's a non-elite, so I knew I could fire blast him down without additional pulls. Generally when I pull additional things, if it's like 5 or 6 things, I will run my happy little butt all the way through smite, and then on up on top of the wheel. That'll kind of show you a little bit later to do the reset. But for now, I made it over to smite. I'm going to get my mana back. I get a little bit more, and I get it a little bit from drinking, so I shield up, and then I decide I'm just going to evocate, because I don't get to evocate here in the kill phase of the pull. So I kind of pull these 2 bodyguards, try and kill them as quickly as possible before smite gets to me. I don't end up killing them, not a big deal, but I start casting on smite after 2 frostbolts on each. Cast 2 frostbolts, and then on the 3rd frostbolt I get ready to cast Cone of Cold and Fire Blast. I do get enough time in my back pedal to get another Fire Blast off. It doesn't always happen, but basically you want to get as far away from that chest as possible so that at the end of the stun you can cast another frostbolt, Fire Blast, Cone of Cold combo, get him dead. So right here you'll see that I just apply a ice barrier, and then I kind of go into the run. This is kind of showing you that you can do this. I don't recommend doing this, but this is to show you just how much mana you actually get back with that talent. It's really absurd, insane how much damage you can shield in this instance without taking any of it actually, and it's mind-boggling to me that you can get a full mana bar from just running around while things are hitting you. With that being said, we're just kind of going around pulling the first set of people on the boat. We'll take them all the way up towards VC up at the top there. We're not going to pull VC because he actually does reset these guys if you do take him away from the boat. Once I get a full circle around right next to that ramp, I go ahead and blink up. Gain a little bit of a distance, because what you want to do on this is run all the way to the left side so that you're not getting hit by those guys on the right side. Hang a little bit of a right here, and then jump over this corner so that everybody kind of groups back up, and then just run on up. So you'll see Captain Greenskin was just around the backside of that hut there. We want to include him in our pool because again, because I'm lazy, I like to include them because boosties get the loot for them and they're not getting any of the other bosses. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to wait for them to get a little close, hop off like we normally would to run down that side of the boat, and you'll see that they're swinging around. So I just waste a little bit of time, do a little back pedal, blink through once I see that I have an opportunity to, and I don't even need to pull these guys. They're going to pull on their own with this mob aggro here. So what we do is we just hop off. We let them go aggro Captain Greenskin as well as his ads, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a quick blizzard up at the top here, just to kind of group everything back up as nicely as possible. I noticed that the front half was a little ungrouped, so I just kind of threw a rank 1 blizzard down, get them all stacked back up, which you'll see I'm at 5,000 mana out of 6,000. So I've gone from 2,000 to 5,000 mana, and I really haven't had to cast much other than my barriers. With these boat people, the pirates, they are kind of proximity, so you want to make sure that they stay as close as possible. And I do like to include everything that I can, so I go ahead and I rank 1 blizzard this guy, and then I look to blink away. That way it kind of condenses the mobs in this one little area, and I get a little bit of a distance from them. What you're going to have to do here is jump, counterspell, because that ledge line of sights you, and then you're going to fire blast that guy. That way, everybody including those 2 elites, any little bit helps. What I'm doing here is I'm just trying to aggro as much as possible. I was trying to cast a rank 1 fire blast on that guy. Didn't pick him up, but it's only like 8 experience in the long run, so it's not too big a deal. Moving back into the smelting room, I generally tend to pull that engineer over to the left there just to be extra precautionary. I don't believe you need to, but you'll notice I get hit a lot here, and I just keep spamming my mana shield. I'm not losing a whole lot of mana, and I get, basically hardly any actual physical damage, and I apply a fire ward there just in case one of those fireballs actually does hit me. I don't want to take any unnecessary damage. Right about now, I'm going to be looking to blink to gain some distance from the pack of mobs behind me, and the reason being is there's some goblins in this little hallway here just before the goblin room. You want to avoid them for as long as possible. That way they don't accidentally axe toss you and stun you while you're pulling. If they do, then you have to waste an ice block early or a blink early, and it's not really a fun time. It's doable, it's not really a fun time, but I like to blink here, counterspell that guy, arcane explosion with a rank 1 arcane explosion, and then ice block. What this does is it should pull everybody except for maybe 1 or 2 goblins in this room, and it stacks all of the people that you've gotten so far up, and you'll use your cancel aura, Frost Nova to get out of that little area, hang right around the corner so they stop ranged attacking you, gain a little bit of a distance, but you want to make sure again that you're not going too far. Spam your mana shield while you're on your way up this. I have a trinket, a PvP trinket that gives me a little bit of an extra barrier, but what I do is I have ice barrier, cold snap, and I'm ready to ice block again, so that I can pack everything back up, cancel aura, Frost Nova, reapply my ice barrier because of that cold snap, start a flame strike, and I'm going to flame strike Cone of Cold, and then Arcane Explosion. By the flame strike Cone of Cold, most everything should be dead. The Arcane Explosions are just to finish whatever is there off, and there you have it. There is a roughly 200 pull Deadmines pull. All of the all the mobs got brought back to the first boss here, and you'll see I'm kind of sitting behind this pipe. I believe the only problem I've ever had is with a Night Elf male in that scenario where I kind of snuck boosties past some of these guys right here, these pats here, and they did aggro. They dropped aggro because it's like a reset spot, but if they want gear from Deadmines because they don't plan on boosting the whole way, that would be the best way to kind of do it. All that being said, that was the one-shot Deadmines pull. Almost one-shot Deadmines pull, if you will. Pretty much, this is the quick way for the Alliance to get that 10 to 15 or 16 range so they can get into stocks. This should be the quickest way. I was getting about 20 to 30 minute levels. So I believe it's a good competitor for Wailing Caverns. That way you don't have to make that trip out there, go through Stranglethorn and all that stuff. I hope you liked the video. I do stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights, 8 p.m. and on. If that changes, I will be updating my schedule on streams. Go ahead and go follow me over at twitch.tv/pandalels. If you liked today's video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of the 3, I would very much appreciate it. With all that being said, I hope everybody has a great day, great night, great evening, and I will see you next time.